Burnouts. We're one day late, but we're feeling good. We're here. We're talking about some games today. We have a lot to talk about. We have the end of this road trip in which the Heat had a disappointing loss against the Trailblazers, but then went ahead and recovered and beat the Jazz and the Suns on a back-to-back to end this road trip. We got three monster-ish Bam games in this stretch, closing out this road trip. We have some cold Norman Powell games. We got a lot of Kasparas minutes. We've got some fun stuff from Jaime. There's just a lot of good stuff in these games worth talking about that we will talk about. We then look at some nitty gritty stuff, the offensive rebound rates, block rates, deflection rates for some of the players on this Heat squad. And let me tell you, Dru Smith is doing some stuff. And we go ahead and preview the next few games we have here before we will be recording again, in which the Heat will be playing the Magic and the Bulls on another back-to-back. And then we go, and of course, go around the league, talk about the Bucks and Giannis and what they're doing there. Has he played his last games in a Bucks jersey? Maybe. About what the Heat are doing on this trade market, what the Clippers are doing right now and their turnaround, and some Lakers stuff, and a disappointing Allen Iverson story. But we'll get to all that and more. Just make sure to like, comment, and subscribe after this. Let's get this show on the road. We got a lot to talk about here, so we'll try to be quick, especially since some of this is a little old, a little outdated at this point, right? But, want to keep track of what we've been doing, what the Heat have been doing on this road trip. Starting off with the last game we have not yet talked about, the Heat at Trailblazers. This was, right off the top, it was a disappointing loss. Denny Avdija went down pretty early into the second or third quarter, and it didn't matter. They were still able to run away with this game. And despite it being a disappointing loss, I don't find myself necessarily reeling over it all too much. Partly, it's a couple of things. Well, one, a huge bright spot out of this game is the fact that Bam continues to just put up monster performances. And, it's exciting to see some consistency on that front, especially coming from earlier in the season or just now in December, when he was going through that long stretch of not playing well. But here we are, not playing well offensively. Always got to clarify that. But here we are with 32 points. He was 13 of 24 from the field. So, taking a lot of shots, 1 of 7 from 3, not his best 3-point shooting game, but 10 rebounds, 3 of them offensive, 2 assists, 3 steals, a block. He was going right at Klingon for a lot of this game. He had no fear at all of Klingon. He had some nice hook shots. If Klingon stepped a little too far back, then he would just pull back and hit the midi on him. He was breaking up lob attempts. He was driving hard and getting and ones. It was just a really, really good showing from Bam on all fronts. There's not much I can say there in terms of what he did or didn't do. And even in terms of the Heat necessarily, right? This game was mostly close. It was 92 to 103 at the end of the third quarter. It was 63-64 at the half. So they started running away a little bit in the third and then, ran away with it more in the fourth. But the point being here is that it was within reach, and the biggest marker, the biggest takeaway is that the Heat shot 9 of 45 from 3. We shot 20% from 3. Norman Powell went 0 of 7. Pella went 0 of 2. Wiggs 1 of 3. Jovic 1 of 3. It was a very terrible shooting night for the Heat, and it wasn't just because they were taking tough shots. A lot of those shots were in rhythm or open. They just weren't making them. And then on the other end, the Blazers, who are statistically the worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA, although they do shoot them at the 4th highest rate in the NBA, they shot 40% from 3, which that's not a staggering number. It's good for sure. If you could shoot 40% from 3, you take it. But compared to the Heat shooting 20 and compared to what this team normally shoots, that's where the difference is. Caleb Love was 4 of 12 from 3, and some of those were really tough. Shaedon Sharp had a game of games, 5 of 9 from 3, 11 of 21 from the field, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 27 points. Just, he was doing it all. Toumani Camara looked great out there too. Time Lord rewound time a little bit and had some fun possessions for their end. I forgot that he was on this roster. So I mean, they had a lot of guys show up and pull through. Drew Holiday came in and was playing really well. But it's not necessarily expected that they're going to shoot as well as they did, and it's definitely not expected that we're going to shoot as poorly as we did. So a loss against the Blazers, not necessarily happy about that. You know, a lot of them are beating their chest right now, and well deserved. They got to win. At the end of the day, they won the game, right? So that's all that matters. But uh, yeah, my biggest takeaways were just the shooting, and Bam had a monster game still, which is exciting for us to see. And Jaime even, went 1 of 7 from the field, which Jaime normally, he's not necessarily our go-to 3-point shooter, but he's usually efficient and someone we can trust to get that bench scoring in, and he just wasn't able to do it in this game. Um, so be it, that's where it happened. That's how it happened. And can't be too upset about this Blazers game looking back, especially considering, it's the middle of a long road trip and shots weren't falling. And yeah, we kept it close for a good amount of the game. There was some fun plays here and there. Some stuff with Pella drawing a charge. Wiggins getting a nice steal and a fast break layup a little later. Cass had some moments where he was helping in the pick and roll, or just playing tough defense. Not like a standout Cass game by any means, but it was definitely a fun one for him. He did have a moment where Caleb Love took him off the dribble and had this little dump pass to Klingen for a dunk that capped off a 21-4 run for the Blazers. So, there's moments. Jovic had some brain fart moments in this. He had this great defensive possession on Grant, and then immediately threw the ball away for a turnover, and then immediately fouled Grant on a 3-pointer. And that's put them up 80-99. And yeah, I mean, that was the game. There was a lot of sloppy turnovers here that weren't really that happy about. There was just a lot of shots that we normally hit that weren't falling, and we move. I don't think we'll be seeing the Trailblazers again. I didn't check I don't believe we have a third game against them. So um, the next game on here, more exciting. We do follow this Blazers game up with 2 wins. First of which was against the Jazz on the first night of a back-to-back. Again, no Ware, no Hero, no Davion for any of these games, and no Lauri for the Jazz. So we talked about this before, but without Lauri Markkanen, this team is really bad. I mean, even with Lauri Markkanen, their overall record is bad, but at least when he's on the court, they play like a better team. But he was not in this game. So, even though we were missing guys, they were missing maybe a more important guy, and they're not a good team. So that goes away. Biggest talking points coming out of this game were the offensive rebounds. I think first and foremost, we had 10 offensive rebounds in the first quarter, the Heat did. And that's the most that the Heat have had in any opening quarter since January 9th, 2004. And the 19 offensive rebounds we had in the first half was a franchise record for any half. So they were all over those boards. And for the total, we weren't able to break the game record, which would be 31. We were on pace to break 31 offensive rebounds, but we kind of stopped missing shots. Funny how you stop getting rebounds when you stop missing shots. But we had 26 total, and we haven't had 26 offensive rebounds in a game since 1994, which just crazy to see when you have records like that are 30 years old. It's cool to see us matching them and breaking them in different ways. So offensive rebounds, Cass was attacking the boards. Oh, Wiggins was attacking the boards. Bam was attacking the boards. Everyone in this game had an offensive rebound who played, other than Kashad. And Kashad only played 3 minutes at the end. So really, everyone who played this game, other than Norman Powell, had offensive rebounds. Bam had 7 offensive rebounds in this game. And again, just another great Bam game. 15 rebounds total, 26 points, 2 assists, 4 of 10 from 3, hit all his free throws, 8 of 19 from the field. He was playing aggressive from the jump, just from the start of this game. And again, we're seeing, I hate to say I was right, but this is the Bam we were seeing in the beginning of the season when he was feeling good and just was attacking and playing aggressive. If anything, better, because I think the shooting is a little bit better right now than it was to start the season. He was a little cold, but was playing aggressive, playing well. And then in December, was clearly playing through injury and was just not, the shots weren't falling. And here he is now, continuing to play aggressive, and it's paying off. It's going really well every time that he's putting his head down and attacking, whether it's, pulling up from the nail or whether it's actually taking it to the rim. Just from the beginning of this game, I mean, if he had Kyle Anderson on him, which shout out to Kyle Anderson for being on the Heat for a little while last year, he was just straight up attacking him. Got a nice and one from him early on in the game, or maybe it was just a foul, not an and one, but regardless, just a great game from Bam, to say the least. And it was a win by committee for sure. He had uh, a lot of the points in this game with 26. There was a lot of people in double digits. Jovic had 23, Pella had 20, Wiggins had 17, Powell had 13, Cass had 12. Um, just a really good game from everybody on that end of the floor, whether it was crashing the board or just playing in the offense. Norm once again is on this cold streak right now. 3 of 11 from the field, 0-4 from three. He did have 6 assists. Nice to see from Norm. And yeah, I mean, I think we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but they did mention this after the Suns game that Norm is probably playing through injury right now to try to make things happen. So he very much needs this rest that's coming up to maybe get him back into shape, as he's not out of shape. He's playing and he's hustling and he's making plays on defense. He's gotten a few steals in some of these games, making the right reads and whatnot, gotten some rebounds in some, but the shooting is obviously being affected. It was nice to see Jovic finally have a good game. He's been so up and down this season, man. It's so weird. But he's young still, unfortunately. 6 of 12 from the field, 3 of 6 from three, 23, 3-1 for him. Dru Smith, look, cold game from Dru Smith, wasn't making shots, but 5 steals. 5 steals is a lot. 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block. He had 11 deflections in this game. He was just everywhere. Also, 4 of those rebounds were offensive. This is Dru Smith we're talking about. This is not a big man. This is a 6'2" guard who had 4 offensive rebounds, and he was doing some work, man. There was this play, I think it was Collier, who bumped him off. Yeah, Collier hit him with the chicken wing, the normal little chicken wing, but it shoved Dru so far, and somehow Dru still managed, while getting thrown back, to strip the ball and get the steal. And yeah, he just has great feel for the game defensively. Offensively, he has his moments. But he, yeah, the ball's never safe when he's around. He has a lot of intensity there, and I love it. I think him and Davion are definitely, and Pella are definitely rubbing off on Cass, and Cass is playing with a similar intensity. I don't think he's there yet, right, in terms of actually delivering those steals, but he's had a few good back taps, a few nice little defensive possessions in these games. So shout out to Cass as well. There was that scary moment this game where Cass took an elbow to the head. We thought maybe he was like concussed or something. It seemed like he was fine. They walked him off, but he was okay, thankfully, and still played the next game. But Cass had a good game this game. I mean, in 16 minutes, well, 17 almost, he was 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from three. He had 1 offensive rebound, 5 total, 1 assist. He was playing well, 12 points. I'm happy with what we're seeing from Cass, little by little by little. Happy that he's getting minutes. I'm curious, once this team's fully healthy, what will happen. I mean, Myron Gardner, despite him being fun and energetic in a lot of these games and having some good moments, I imagine his minutes are going to get cut, obviously. But we have Davion, Tyler, and Ware still out. So is it him and Simone taking a step back? Is Cass maybe losing even more minutes? We'll see. We will see. And yeah, I mean, overall, this was a blowout against one of the worst teams in the league, missing their best player. So not much to say. I will compliment at the very least that Nurkic, when their offense was clicking, right, when the Jazz offense was clicking, they were beating us on some cuts, and Nurkic was doing like a best Baby Jokic impression and just making the right read to the cutters, passing to cutters, and it was working well for a while. They were actually able to score quite a bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was never, after the first quarter, a close game, but they had 52 points in the half at us. It's not good, but it wasn't terrible. So 89 points and 116 total to end the game. There was some moments. There was some nice moments where their cutters were making some stuff, making things happen. I liked what I saw from Cody Williams. I liked what I saw from Nurkic. Zvi Mikhailuk was interesting. Yeah, I mean, they've got some guys. They're just not a good team yet. Ace Bailey was super cold from three, but he had a few moments there where I liked it. He had 1 steal and 2 blocks. That were pretty nice. Yeah, they've got some young guys. They're hoping for a high pick. Not much to say here. Can't really be upset. Or I mean, can't really be too high off of a win against the Jazz, but nice to make sure we get one on the first night of the back-to-back. And then for the second night of the back-to-back, as the last game of the road trip, they play the Suns. This was, again, second night of back-to-back, missing Hero, Davion, and Ware. The plane was delayed in Utah for hours, so we got there late as well. They were missing Devin Booker and Jalen Green still. So, again, this isn't a fully healthy Suns team. They've still been feisty, even without these guys, but not a fully healthy team. And again, Norm was very, very cold in the game. He, uh, but did have 10 rebounds, was playing within the offense, but yeah, 5 of 21 from the field, 2 of 10 from three. And despite that, we were able to come away with a close-ish win. I didn't feel like there was moments in the third quarter that I felt tense, that it felt like we were playing Suns basketball and that they were going to run away with it. But thankfully, we were able to break out of that. And I mean, partially, I really do got to give a lot of credit to this game to Mr. Jaime Jaquez Jr. 8 of 11 from the field, 1 of 3 from three. He had 5 rebounds, 1 offensive, 6 assists, a block. He had 20 points in the game. And let me just tell you, when you see 72%, near 73% shooting on a guy like this, you're thinking maybe he just got some easy looks, right? And that could not be further from the truth. The shots that Jaime Jaquez was making in this game against the Suns were truly, truly impressive, to the point where there are commentators who are very much Suns homers. I mean, every commentator's a homer to some extent, but they were aggressively homers. And they were taken aback by just what kind of shots Jaime Jaquez was making. He had the catch and shoot three is nothing, but he was being a bully when there was someone smaller on him. He had these tough pull-ups from the mid-range. He had a nasty and one in the third quarter. He really, I felt like the game got sluggish. And this is what I was talking about in that last game where Jaime was so cold in the Blazers game. But in this game, when the game got sluggish, Jaime checked in and went to work, man. And I mean, we've seen it already for long enough that I just have so much faith in this guy. I understand that his name may or may not end up being on the trade block. We'll get to some of the trade stuff a little later, but I really am happy with everything I'm seeing from him. And I think he knows his role so well and he plays it so well. I mean, truly, third-year player. He is an older third-year player, but 20 points with 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Was doing everything. And even on defense, I mean, he holds up. He's not a depoy candidate, not a second team, first team, defense player, but he holds his own on defense and isn't asleep there and just does so much for this basketball team. Bam did have another good game. So 3 good games in a row here for Bam. 7 rebounds, 22 points, 2 assists, 2 of 6 from three, 6 of 16 from the field. So the shooting was a little bit worse in this one. But got to the free throw line quite a bit, 8 of 8 from the free throw line, nice from him. And that just comes from the aggression that he's playing with, that he's continuing to play with in all these games. And it's truly making such a difference in this offense that every time Bam comes in, it's not just an impact on defense, but a huge impact on offense. He started the game off early with a corner 3, and that sets the tone really to help space the floor when he's out there too, knowing that you have to cover him. And if you're not, he's going to have different ways to like pick you apart. And it was a contested 3. I mean, not like super contested, but it was contested. He had some nice offensive rebounds in the game. Really happy with Bam again as well. But nonetheless, I think the biggest takeaway from this one was Jaime. Especially because like first quarter, we were taking it ahead. It didn't feel good. The shooting wasn't great. We were 1 of 8 from 3 to start the first, but we hit 11 of 14 free throws, and that's what gave us that lead, 32 out of 20, 32 to 21. In the second quarter, the Suns, though, they even took a lead because the Heat were still cold as hell from 3. There was a moment in the second quarter that was really nice. Cass had this off the dribble, or he took Gillespie off the dribble for an and one. And I mean, the Gillespie, again, is just another player, right? But one of the biggest concerns for Cass in college was his ability to take people off the dribble and how much he seemed dependent on screens to get his offense going. So nice to see him be able to do that and then finish through contact to get the and one, not just draw the foul, which is always good, but strong enough to go ahead and finish it and get the and one is happy to see. Andrew Wiggins was on the boards here as well. Just another, 4 rebound game chilling for him, 4 offensive rebound game. There's another one where everybody had offensive rebounds except for Simone. Everyone who played had an offensive rebound, at least one, and many people with above one. So we were crashing the boards well at the right moments and doing a good job of it. Uh, Cass himself, though, he had the 3 of those offensive rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. He's a hustler. He's everywhere all the time. He did have this moment that borderline dirty. He had a almost steal. He stripped the ball, but it went out, and he kind of tried to dive for it and ran straight into, I believe it was Grayson Allen's legs. Um, Thankfully, he was not hurt. I like the intensity. I like the effort, Cass, but you really got to be careful when you're diving for a ball if there's a player in front of you. Just be careful. I love the intensity, though. I do really love the intensity. Um, there was another play, too, in this game that I really, really liked. Dru Smith, uh, good game from him overall, especially defensively. But there was this play where he was in the strong side corner, and he ran all the way across the baseline to the weak side corner. Uh, he faked like a dribble handoff action with Simone, or at least it looked like they were faking dribble handoff action, and the defender was expecting, Grayson was expecting him to kind of flare out and head straight to the basket, but he turned around, or not flare out rather, but just curl into the paint and head straight to the basket. But he turned around and went to the corner and completely lost Grayson, just completely lost him and got that wide open 3. It was cute. It was just, one play, but it was really cute to see. You don't always see a guy get wide open like that running from one side of the court to the other. But I liked that action there. And that was off of like an offensive rebound. So this wasn't a set play or something. I mean, I'm sure it's something they have in their repertoire, but it kind of came naturally. And again, man, yeah, this was just a good win. Not win to be super, super hype on. I'm not going to go to like a 10 because, again, they didn't have Devin and they don't have Jalen Green. But we're missing guys too. And we're a kind of equal standing-ish team. We are missing some guys, and it's the second night of a back-to-back for us. So I'll take that win. I'm very happy with it. Dylan Brooks had a great game. At least it felt like it. It felt like he was playing really well. 26 points, 11 of 23 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. Yeah, I really liked the intensity from Dylan Brooks on defense too. I think he had a really good block on Jaime at one point. He also had this bullshit foul call on Jaime that I'll even say it was like so late after the whistle that I don't think that was a foul, and I kind of hate when that happens. But yeah, shout out to him. And also in reference to that third quarter, I did want to mention that it was scary and it was sluggish, and they closed it into 82-77, kept it close. But part of that's also because Livers hit a 3 from the logo to end the quarter with like 3 seconds left on the clock. So it would have been a little bit of a better lead going into the fourth. But nonetheless, we took it over. We kept control of the game, and the Heat won. Excuse me as I take a sip here. Water and coffee, staying hydrated and caffeinated. Moving on, just some general talking points from this. So again, overall on this road trip, this 5-game road trip, the Heat went 3-2. I was really hoping for 4-1. Really. The Warriors game was the one that I'm a little bit more hurt by. I was expecting to lose the Suns game, win the Warriors and Trailblazers game. I thought we were going to go on like a nice little stretch there, but started it off a little whack. And then here we are. We finished it with nice 2 in a row. Which look, long road trip in the West, 3-2. I'm not too mad about it. Let's just hold the fort here at home where we weren't healthy at all. And after that Suns game, they did mention that Norm has been pretty banged up, which explains the shooting because the effort is there, the hustle is there, everything is there, and he's getting to his looks, but he's not actually making the shot. There's also a lot of fouls on Norm that are being called, which he's always been good at drawing fouls, and maybe that's just part of the change in officiating that we're starting to see heading into the second half of the season. Free throws are down across the league, across teams, and a lot of shots that Norm would normally be called for a shooting foul, like that you'd get the defender to foul him on a shot. They're calling them on the floor now. And there was a few that I felt, and Spo even called it out, that I'm like, that should have been free throws. But that's part of it too. Part of his efficiency is kind of knowing when the defender's going to reach and making them learn. So we didn't get that. I will say too, another general talking point that I got from this, I was excited about the offensive rebounds in the past few games. So I first wanted to just look into Wiggins because he had a decent amount against Phoenix 4 and see what he looks like compared to other players in his position. And that led me to looking at the whole Heat organization for their offensive rebounds. Wiggs, uh, per cleaning the glass, is in the 86th percentile for offensive rebounds off of field goals. That's pretty good, right? You're happy with 86th percentile. But he's also in the 92nd percentile of block rate, which, I mean, it makes sense. I feel like if you're watching these games, you are seeing Wiggins do a lot of stuff on the defensive end. He holds his own, and a lot of the times against bigger players and against tough assignments, he's sneakily putting up like a defensive team caliber year. I really like a lot of what he's doing, the effort from him in general. But then this led me to see that Dru Smith, who right now a lot of Heat fans are not happy with. And look, I was on the same page of saying, I don't want to see so much Dru Smith minutes if it's at the cost of less Cas minutes, because I want to see Kasparas play. I want to see him grow. But hey, got to give credit where credit's due. Dru Smith's offense has been poor. The shooting has been poor. Sometimes he makes some boneheaded drives when he could make a pass out. I've seen this. We've seen this. It happens. But the defense, he's an anomaly. He's in the 100 percentile in 3 different categories here. He's 100 percentile in the offensive rebounding off field goals, offensive rebounding off of free throws, also in the 100th percentile, and he's in the 100th percentile for steals. He's for anyone playing the point, he's better than any of them. 100th percentile at steals and offensive rebounds, whether it's off a field goal or off a free throw. He's like 3.7% steals per play. Like that's I know it sounds like nothing, but those are possessions you're getting in a game. Those are a few extra possessions you're getting in a game. Plus the offensive rebounds. He's winning you a handful of more possessions in a game. And then it's up to us to do the right thing with them, or for him not to make, there's sometimes you see him get a steal and he goes coast to coast, and sometimes he makes it. But sometimes like, you had a few Heat players trailing, you could have passed it to for a better look, and he goes up and gets blocked or just makes a bad shot. So it's okay, but got to give him credit for that. He's also per 36 because he doesn't play the most minutes, right? And I had to filter for games, which not really filtered for 6 games. Players who've played at least 6 games. Dru Smith leads the league in deflections at 6.5 deflections per game, per 36. Caruso is next at 6.4, another player who's, credited for their defensive prowess. And then him and Pella are both in the top 10 in charges drawn per 36. Pella's higher than Dru. And when you lower it to per game, just per game, him and Pella are still near the top of charges drawn. So he's just making so much effort that I get why Spo, of all people, is like in love with this dude. It's just pure effort from this guy. And to that extent, why Heat fans are upset and what we see, the shooting is bad. He's also a minus 15 for the team right now. Some of that I checked, has to do with lineups. All his lineups with Ware are not good. I mean, we've seen it. The on-off numbers of Ware in general are not good. So that's part of it. One of his more played lineups, though, his second most played lineup, him with Bam, Simone, Jovic, and Jaquez is a plus 45.3. Insane number. It's only 96 minutes, so not enough. I'll be the first one to say that is not a large enough sample size, but really good. And a lot of his lineups with Bam are good, which you could say it's because Bam is on the court. Bam in general raises all the lineups when he's on the court, and sure, but there are some lineups he has even without Bam that are good. It's just really is some of his more frequent ones are with Ware, and those are really bad, at least as of right now. And a lot of these are small sample size because of the amount of changing we've had in the lineups and the roster. So a lot of these have not had enough data to say definitively that like Dru Smith and Ware can't play together, right? A few other things I saw while I was on here that were pretty interesting. Myron Gardner, only 10 games played, but he's been a firecracker. No one can doubt his effort or his energy. He's in the 100 percentile on block rate for his position at the wing. This is, it's one thing for Dru to be doing this stuff at a guard position, which is still impressive, but the competition is less, right? Guards aren't getting blocks, which Dru's in the 86th percentile for blocks for guards, or, necessarily getting all these offensive rebounds, but wings get blocks. There are wings out there who get blocks, and Myron Gardner's in the 100 percentile. in 10 games. Not enough. Not enough. That number will go down, but still exciting to see. And he's in the 96th percentile for offensive rebounds. Loving that as well. In the 88th percentile for steals. So really, really active on there. And then Cass in only 17 games is in the 92nd percentile for offensive rebounds. So we're seeing a lot of good stuff from some of these smaller guys. I mean, Cass is like a combo, he's not a small guard by any means, but still nice to see him so high on that offensive rebound percentage. Uh, but yeah, those are some general talking points just from those games. We'll very quickly preview the next two that we have. The next one is against the Magic. First and foremost, the last time we played against the Magic, they eliminated us from the NBA Cup. We've lost our last two matchups, our only two of this season. I think I speak for all Heat fans here that I would really love a win, just to, assert dominance of the state of Florida. I hope try to even out this series against the Magic. They're an interesting team, man. Without Wagner got hurt in their next NBA Cup game against the Knicks. They've been pretty bad. They've slipped to the 20th offense and the 15th defense. When we played them last, this was months ago. This is December 9th, a little over a month ago. They were the 11th defense and the 12th offense. So they've dropped 4 places in defense and 8th places in offense. And a lot of that is the Wagner injury, which it sucks for Paolo. This team was starting to prosper and bloom without him with Wagner. And then Wagner gets hurt and he comes back and the team is middling. And I think a lot of that also is, I think Suggs has missed some games too. I think Paolo's maybe kind of going through an identity crisis. The conversation still continues about whether Paolo and Franz should play together. I think Zach Lowe said it on his most recent podcast that another issue, and I mean, it's obvious, but I didn't mention it. And sometimes you don't think about the obvious thing. But aside from all the stuff I've mentioned about their shot profile, their shot diet, the way they like to play, their poor shooting from three, which is super important in this context that neither of them are great 3-point shooters. They're both around the same size too. So when these are your two main guys, you can't really ever get creative with switching, with forcing the opponents into a weird switch game where they have to make a choice between your two main guys, because whoever's guarding Franz can probably guard Paolo and vice versa. So as long as the team is of the right size, right? The Heat have had some issues here where we're undersized. So sometimes whoever ends up our Paolo or Franz has a tough matchup. But yeah, and that's another thing. It's just, look, I think there's another team to watch. We listed a bunch of maybe blow it up teams on the last podcast who might blow it up, who might make some big trades after this season if they don't end up where they want to end up. All of these guys have different goals. The Magic aren't hoping to win a chip this year, but they're hoping to make a deep playoff run. And if they don't, some questions will be asked and some answers will be found. So we'll see. But I would not doubt that Paolo or Franz hits the trade market this summer. And sign me up personally. I mean, I don't know how they fit. I don't know what the cost would be, but I like both those guys. I just don't like them together. That's me. And that does not mean that we will assuredly win this game, because it seems like every time we play the Magic, we lose. So despite them slipping to the 20th offense and the 15th defense, and in the last 2 weeks, they're the 27th offense and 27th defense. They are playing like one of the worst teams in the NBA in the last 2 weeks. It should be a Heat win. It should be. We got a few days rest here. It's at home. Let's do this, guys. Let's clean it up. A few things. This is a lot of the same stuff from before, but the Magic are a team that draw a lot of free throws. They're top 10 in offensive rebound rate. They're top 4 at rim frequency, but they don't attack the rim a lot. I apologize. That doesn't make any sense. So now I will double check my stats, as the notes that I wrote down are a little silly. They are, yeah, they are top 4 rim frequency, but they don't shoot well at the rim, which is an issue. They're an average team at the rim. What am I? There we are. Sorry, I am so sorry, guys. Hey, it's a rough morning. Yeah, top 4 at rim, but they don't shoot that well at the rim. They're in the bottom 10, bottom 8 at rim free shots. in terms of accuracy. Their accuracy is only good really from anywhere, from the corner three. From everywhere else on the floor, they're in the bottom 10. They're 24th short mid, 23rd long mid, 30th non-corner three, 27th from all mid, 29th from all three. Yeah, they're just not a really good offensive team. Their transition offense is really what gets them going off of live rebounds is really good. They have a top 5 frequency in that, and they have a top 5 points per 100 possession. So when you miss, they start running, and that's when they attack the rim and hopefully actually score. Aside from that, it's been tough for them. Defensively, they're a top team at preventing threes, but they allow a ton of short mids and a decent amount of at rim shots. And the accuracy from them in terms of what they're allowing is practically bottom 10 from everywhere. They are allowing teams to shoot pretty well. So again, hoping here, based on all the data, based on who they're missing, I think Wagner will still be out. We should be able to win this game, win a game at home against them. And then after this long road trip, we only get one game at home before we have to go play against the Bulls again. And this is really weird. We won't talk about all this. I mean, I guess it's all the same. So the last time we were supposed to play the Bulls, their NBA arena, their court started sweating, literally. They have an ice hockey rink under the court. It was humid, it was rainy, wasn't upkept well. So the court was wet, couldn't play. Had to cancel. So they rescheduled. Because of that reschedule, the Heat and Bulls were playing 3 times in 4 days, with one of those being a back-to-back. So we're playing them away, and then we play them again away on Saturday, and then again on Sunday in a back-to-back. A lot of games against the Bulls coming up. The last time we really did play them was back in the group stage of the NBA Cup when we blew them out. Kobe White did not play, and he has been really good for them, so I will shout him out. We will see. I mean, I'm really, really curious. The first game of this series, I'm less interested in, but by the third game, are there going to be some tensions here? If Pele gets under one guy's skin in the first game, then by the third game, they might want to kill him. I don't know how many times you see a team play 3 times in 4 days, not even in the playoffs, really. Just very curious NBA scheduling. I know they had to just find a place to fit it in, and this is where it fit, but holy heck. The Bulls have been a middling team, but recently, in the last 2 weeks, they have the first offense in the NBA and the 20th defense. Overall, they're the 14th offense and 20th defense. So the defense has been normal, but for some reason in the last 2 weeks, they have the first offense. So I went and checked who they've played, see if there's any interesting stuff there. They beat the Celtics, they beat the Wolves, they beat the Clippers, they beat the Nets, and the Jazz and Mavs. That's 6 of their last 8 that they've won against Celts, Wolves, Clips, Nets, Jazz, Mavs. And then they lost against the Nets and Houston. So a little curious. I mean, there's some teams there that do allow points, the Jazz and the Nets, the Mavs without Anthony Davis, the Nets again. Wolves and Houston have been prone to have some weird moments, Clippers as well. So that could be beefing up their offensive statistics a little bit. Nonetheless, 6 of 8 against those teams isn't a bad place. I'd be happy with 6 of 8 against those teams I just listed. So good on them. In terms of turnovers, they are good at preventing them. And I don't know why I jumped to it in that way. I'm sorry for the transition. They're 8th in turnovers. They in terms of preventing them, they don't turn the ball over a lot. They don't offensive rebound a lot. They don't draw a lot of fouls. They attack the rim a ton. They are 2nd at rim frequency. And then this is the weird one. They have the 28th highest frequency at the short mid range. So it was odd for me to see a team that attacks the rim so hard not also have a slightly higher short mid frequency, because sometimes when you attack the rim, you stop, or a guy is trailing you, or an offensive rebound that leads to another guy who shoots from the short mid. I don't know. Just weird to see 2nd at rim all the way to 28th, bottom 3 short mid. And then they're 30th from long mid, which, and smart. They don't shoot a lot of them. They're not good at them. They're top 10 from 3. So they shoot a lot of threes and they attack the rim. That's their thing. They pass out. So I guess rather than even take a chance on the short mid, they're just passing that out. That's their offensive scheme. Their accuracy is not good at the rim. They're 27th at rim accuracy. They are 12th from corner 3 and 7th from non-corner 3. So they're dangerous from those places. They do have a good half court offense. And I guess it's that drive and kick game that, they just spam it. And they're really good off of live rebounds and transition. Fourth points per 100 possessions, sixth frequency. This was a high paced team earlier in the season. I believe they still are. So I expect, again, a high paced game against this, high scoring game against the Bulls. We'll see if all three of these games are high scoring, how much things change, lineup changes. It'll just be fun to see. Um, the last time we did play them, I mean, the roster was just so different in terms of who we were playing. Uh, Ware played 28 or almost 28 minutes in this game. We still had no Tyler Hero. Cass wasn't a part of the lineup yet. Kashad Johnson had almost 30 minutes in this game. Davion was playing. I mean, maybe Davion is still playing now. I don't know. We don't know what our roster will look like injury-wise going into it. But um, yeah, it'll be different. But these 3 games will really give us an accurate representation of, I guess, what these teams look like against each other. Um, their defense isn't great, as we've talked about. They don't force turnovers. Um, they don't allow offensive rebounds at the very least, and yeah, they they allow a lot of teams to get to the rim on them, so that's not good. They allow a lot of at rim, so hopefully we can attack the rim well and score on them. We'll move on. I'm more interested in just seeing what this looks like at the end of these 3 games against the Bulls. Around the league, a lot is going on. We're going to close out with some of this around the league stuff. First and foremost, Bucks news, as per always, right? Giannis. There was a report from Jake L. Fisher that the Milwaukee Bucks are coming to the realization that trading Giannis onto Antetokounmpo might be best for both sides. Obviously, it took them this long. But it was an even more interesting thing. This was from Henry Abbott of True Hoops. This is a quote, and I, space it out a little bit. Last week, someone very well placed in the business told me something alarming about Buck star Giannis Antetokounmpo. That Giannis was close to firing his longtime agent, Alex Haratzis, over his failure to get Giannis traded from the Bucks. He continues, the subtext of all this, though, is about getting out of Milwaukee. And that's where everyone I spoke to agrees. Whether it ends next week or in the summer, the Bucks and their star know it'll end soon. I mean, look, how many times can we keep crying wolf until there really is a wolf? But I feel like the noise is just getting so loud, and the statements are getting way more definitive. And if he really is looking at firing his agent, and again, this is like, these aren't just people who make things up. Henry Abbott's an award-winning journalist. Jake L. Fisher is known for breaking news. So, yeah. Will he get traded by this deadline? I don't know. The injury is interesting and how that plays into it. He's out with a calf strain again, it seems like, second one of the season, possibly. So I don't know if it'll be now or if it'll be in summer, but it looks like it's going to happen. And with that being said, and I know people are upset that the Heat are kind of idling by. This is a report from Kelly Eco. Outside of the John Morant Miami connection reported 2 weeks ago, the Heat are thought to be seeking smaller scale deals that would further fortify their asset war chest, positioning them for Giannis or a similar scale superstar if and when they become available. So, I mean, first and foremost, I'm all for this. I would much rather be doing that than win now trades. If we can get a few picks here and there, get some players who are assets, I'm happy with that. And whether it's for Giannis this summer or for a different player later on, like, this team right now isn't good enough to me to make noise, to make the right amount of noise in the playoffs. So let's see. Set ourselves up to be able to at least have a good package for Giannis, so that if he does say he wants to come to Miami, right, we at least need a serviceable enough package that the Bucks can swallow that pill. But if it's not enough, then they're going to end up having to send him to a second or third or fourth favorite destination. Or if we're only his second destination, then we need to be able to beat the first one, right? So let's hope. A few other things here before we sign off. Clippers, at the beginning of the season, man, we were also worried that the Clippers were going to be giving a top 5 pick, a top 4 pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they're having a turnaround almost like we've never seen before. So this is reported in game. There's been some posts about it on X. Justin Russo mentioned it on X as well, I believe, or Threads. No team has ever finished 500 after starting 6 of 21 or worse. The Clippers at 21-24 are 3 games away from 500 after going 15-3 in their last 18 games. This is the best record of any team who started 6 of 21 or worse through 27 games, of which there's been 116 teams to do that before this season. The best they've ever achieved is 36 of 46. No team who started 6 or 21 or worse has clawed their way back to 500 at any point during that same season. So, I mean, the Clippers pretty surely will beat that 36 mark, I think, and they might hit 500, which is, I mean, Kawhi. A lot of people are going to point to like maybe it was Chris Paul, they sent him away, but I think it's really that Kawhi and James Harden are both playing a lot and playing well. So that's the biggest thing. The team is playing better. But the closest turnaround that people can think of in recent memory is the 2017 Heat, who started 11 of 30 and stormed back to 41-41. Just crazy season. Crazy that the Heat were able to do that. Next, another LA team, the Lakers. This was just an interesting tidbit of basketball psychology that Tim McMahon mentioned on the Hoop Collective podcast, and it was attributed to something that JJ Redick was talking about post-game, in which he was saying that Luka needs to trust the pass, and people were somewhat misinterpreting it into thinking that Luka's being a ball hog. Not necessarily the point of it, because Luka being a ball hog is a good offense. He's really good at that. More so, there's like a psychology to everything we do, right? These are humans out there playing on a basketball court. And Tim McMahon went ahead and looked, or had someone look for him. I'm not sure how much Van McMahon is doing himself, but uh, the number of passes that the Lakers are making has no correlation to their offensive success statistically, but their highest passing games versus their lowest passing games, they're 4 points better on their defensive efficiency on their higher passing games. So the ball moving leads to good defense. And that's because what he talks about here, and what, I mean, we could deduce here, when players touch the ball, when they're able to grab it, make a play, dribble, take a shot, even if it misses, make a pass, do something, feel involved, then they're more engaged on defense psychologically. So what JJ is trying to get Luka to remember is early on in this game, make sure to swing that thing and get your team involved so that they can put in the effort, even though it might lead to a worse bucket, even though Luka holding the ball might be better, maybe, but passing the ball is better overall for this game. And then if it gets down to it in crunch time, then Luka, do what you got to do. And the team should be engaged no matter what at that point. McMahon also pointed out that the Lakers are 7-0 when they have 30 assists after beating the Mavs on Saturday. They're also 21-4 when they have at least 25 assists. So yeah, swing that thing and people feel engaged. Who would have thought? And that probably explains some of how this Heat defense is working with some of these players. It's just everyone feels engaged. Everyone's having fun. Uh, and then last and certainly least, there was some news that came out about Allen Iverson this past weekend. And I'm not going to go too far into it. There's a Reddit article about it if you guys want to see it. And you could look it up. There's articles written elsewhere, I'm sure, about it at this point. Allen Iverson did this thing in Australia where he was supposed to be supporting kids with cancer and like meeting with parents, meeting with the kids, doing like signing stuff, talking with them. And he was just a complete letdown. People drove from all over the country, all over the continent to go see him. And he didn't really put any effort into it. He had people waiting around for hours. He had an excuse at one point that he didn't come out to see the kids because he was having a bad day. Just pretty tone deaf when you're talking about kids who are receiving chemotherapy for lymphoma and cancer, other cancers. So yeah, just really sad. I mean, I know you're just taking a paycheck, man, but if you're taking a paycheck to supposedly help sick kids and brighten their day, you just got to put in a better effort than that. I think Andrew Bogut spoke out about this as well too. Um, yeah, it's just sad. And with that, I will say the best player, the coolest player to ever wear the number 3 is Dwayne Wade. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you all. We will be back. We'll probably be recording the next one or dropping it on Fridays. We have this Wednesday, Thursday game, I believe, this week. And then we will, yeah, we'll see you all then.